What is up, guys? EJ here, aka Puckbond007, and welcome to the Movie Reviewers 100, this great collaboration channel on YouTube and Facebook that I am proud to be a part of. So this week is a very special week. It's my birthday week, an idea that me and Scott came up with, where for each of our birthdays, all the guys on the channel, we'd see what celebrities, directors, actors share the same birthday, and then we'd talk about a movie from one of those actors for that week. So yeah, my birthday was yesterday, February 7th. I just turned 36, and some decent performers share my birthday. The one I'm going to talk about today is James Spader. Alan kicked off the week yesterday with a film by Ashton Kutcher. Of course, The Butterfly Effect, really good film. I've always liked that movie, and I've liked him in it. Ashton Kutcher and me are exactly the same age, so we were born the same year. So technically, I could have been married to me more. That's how I look at it anyway. Other notable people, Chris Rock shares my birthday, and Charles Dickens. So yeah, some interesting people share my birthday, and like I said, I chose a film starring James Spader, very famous for his work in the 80s, of course, with the Brat Pack movies, like Pretty in Pink and so on, stuff like that. But he's a really good actor, still working today, great on TV in the new show The Blacklist, which I haven't watched. But the film I'm going to talk about today came out in 2002, and that is Secretary, co-starring Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader. The film was directed by Steven Shainberg, and yeah, like I said, Maggie Gyllenhaal is really the star of this film. It was the movie that sort of propelled her career when this came out. She plays Lee Holloway, and at the beginning of the film we see her, she's just being released from an institute she's a girl who likes to cut herself. She likes pain, but she had an episode where she cut a little bit too deep and had a near death experience, and her family, her mother, put her in this institute to get better. So she comes home, kind of an abusive home life. Her father is an alcoholic. So yeah, to deal with this pain, she likes to inflict pain on herself by cutting herself. She has this little sewing kit with all these knives and razor blades and iodine, I guess, to numb the pain afterwards. So she's sort of at home trying to figure out what she's gonna do. She's kind of a young girl at the time, probably early 20s is her age during this film. But one day she decides she's gonna look for a job. Well, she's actually about to throw out her little kit, and she sees a wanted ad lying in the garbage on a newspaper, and she decides she's gonna look for a job. And one of the ones that appeals to her is secretary. A secretary is wanted by a lawyer. The lawyer is played by James Spader. So she goes to this job interview at this very interesting office, lawyer's office. It's more of a house, really. It's like it's part of a house, this lawyer's office. The setting for this movie is really interesting, I thought. There's sort of the reception area where she sits, and then there's like a long hallway down to where his office is. And on either side he has like a library, and there's a kitchen and bathrooms, I assume. So the setting for this film, and the art decoration of the office itself, the whole area is very interesting for this lawyer. And all he really needs is a woman who knows how to type and answers phones. And we see earlier on that she took some sort of typing class. She knows how to type using a typewriter. And when he interviews her, he basically asks her a couple questions very softly. He's very soft and sort of gentle at the beginning of this film. He's very quiet and shy, as he describes himself later on, James Spader's character. But if you've seen any James Spader movie, you know he sort of has this really great persona where he's a little psychotic, no matter what kind of character he's playing. Yeah, he's always an interesting actor, very interesting to watch, and this movie is no different. So one day while she's in the office, she's putting down like mice traps or something, and she's like bending over. James Spader notices that she has bandages on the back of her leg. Lee likes to cut her legs basically, and he notices all these bandages. And one day he asked her like, "What's with the sniffling and the bandages and all her little quirks, her tongue in her mouth while she's typing? She like moves her tongue around in an interesting way." And she tells him about the cutting, and he sort of very succinctly tells her, "You're never gonna cut again. This is the last time you're doing it." And they also have another thing where she types these letters for him, but she makes typing mistakes. And since it's on a typewriter, there's no computers in this office. He says that at the beginning. There's going to be no computers. I hope you know how to use a typewriter. So he reads them and proofreads them and circles them in this red ink. And they sort of have this thing where they go back and forth where he yells at her for making all these mistakes with her typing. And then one day he has her bend over his desk with the letter in front of her, and while she reads it, he starts to spank her repeatedly and pretty hard, and then the relationship sort of evolves into this sadomasochistic bond that they have. She writes these letters, makes mistakes, and then goes to his office to get spanked basically, and she develops a very sort of lustful and loving attachment to him, where that's really all she wants is for him to like basically spank her. This sadomasochistic relationship. The what's the two words I'm thinking of? Anyway, it's a very sexy film. There's not much actual sex or nudity. There is some at the end, a little bit. But Maggie Gyllenhaal is awesome in this film. I absolutely love her in this movie. She just has this really something interesting about her. She's very sweet and innocent, really, on the surface, but this sort of addiction to pain makes these two a very interesting couple throughout the film. And there's a couple of really good scenes of her like masturbating and fantasizing about him. There's a little sex scene at the end. Like, the ending is kind of weird. There's this whole thing where she sort of after she gets fired eventually, he gets sort of bored of the whole relationship, and she wants more. He basically treats her like a regular secretary after all this stuff has happened, and she goes away, and then she comes back. She's also dating this young guy played by Jeremy Davies, who's a little out of his league. I guess on the surface they look like a nice couple, but when you really see what she really wants and what she's really into, you can see he's totally not for her. And in a strange way, James Spader obviously is, even though he's this sort of shy and quiet lawyer. He's very he can like go off the handle at any point, sort of in line with most of James Spader's characters. Yeah, my friend Kevin, I believe, you know him as Dr. Hassline from Down Under, a really good YouTuber. When I posted that I watched this yesterday, he wrote one of the most strangely erotic films I've ever seen, and I have to agree, it's really erotic. It's quite hot, in fact. Maggie Gyllenhaal is great. There's some good nudity at the end, towards the end of the film, and yeah, she just has this great sort of. It just comes through on screen. She has this sort of. I mean, she's not the most beautiful actress in the world, but she has this sort of magnetism in her eye, and the way she moves and talks in this movie. There's just something about her that like really captures you in this film, and it's a interesting taboo subject told in a very interesting way. The idea of S&M basically in the in the simple space of a lawyer's office between a lawyer and a secretary, and that is Secretary from 2002. Really good film, great performances by Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader. So thank you for watching as always. Hope you guys tune in for the other videos from the guys this week. It is my birthday week. We'll be having more of these throughout the year, scattered throughout the year. Whenever one of the guys has a birthday that week, we'll be doing the same sort of thing. So check it out. So until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.